If you're anything like me, you love reading. And if you're anything like me, you can find reading to be very frustrating and difficult. See, that's what dyslexia does to a person. It means that you have to sit down with a book and reread the first page 5 or more times just to get all the words straight in your head. The first time I pushed through that resistance, I was about 12 or 13. My dad bought me a copy of The Hobbit. It had a beautiful green slipcase and matching hardcover. I felt the weight of that book in my hands and I knew there was something special. And so I dug into the story and quickly I was rewarded by a magical world and captivating characters that leapt off the page, and Shelob, a giant spider, a terror, and a magic ring that helped the hero go invisible and do things that no one could do in the world around me. I was so captivated that I didn't care when my friends and my brothers and sisters teased me for spending 9 months to get through 350 pages. No, I didn't care at all. What I felt changed my life, and I continued to read for many years. But as I got older, there were challenges. I got a job, and I had a job in college, and eventually a job in college and a beautiful wife, and a job in college and a beautiful wife and 3 amazing boys. Being a father and a husband and working and getting an education, all of those things started to push reading aside because it took hours and hours just to get through a couple chapters. And there was a point when I thought maybe reading was a thing of the past, which is ironic because I'm a writer. Yeah, I went to college to get my degree in writing, and you may not know this, but writing and reading are very different. This is dyslexia for you. They're very different disciplines. You can write something with no challenge to the order of the words in your brain. It's like a different part is processing things, and so it's very easy to tell stories, much more difficult to port them into you. But I knew that there was something wrong with being a writer and not reading, and frankly, I missed it. I missed the experience of reading books. I wanted it back. My job did kind of help me out because eventually I was traveling a lot for work, and whether I was driving in a car or sitting on an airplane, having an audiobook in my ears was something that helped time pass, and suddenly I realized, wow, I can really pay attention when I have other things going on. So I would intentionally put audiobooks on while I was driving, doing the dishes, taking the dog for a walk, any of those activities of life. And it really enriched my experience, and I had reading back for a time. But what I realized was that there was only a narrow swath of books that I could actually engage with that worked. And those books had to be straightforward plots with a few characters, nothing too tricky or technical in any way. And that became a limiting factor for me that really took away some of the joy that I was experiencing. I couldn't read mysteries anymore because if you don't have the time to really take it slow, you lose track of the characters and you lose track of the plot and what's happening. A lot of people don't know that dyslexia is not just visual, it's also auditory. When you hear something, it can be difficult to keep sounds straight. That's why a lot of dyslexics do stumble over their words when they talk and have a hard time pronouncing more challenging words. I thought that I was limited in the stories that I could hear, and it felt frustrating until I was gifted a Stephen King novel. You may have heard of it before. If you haven't, which rock are you sleeping under? The book I'm talking about is It. I was gifted the copy of It, and it was such a big, long, huge book that I knew if I sat down and read that, it was going to take me years. Then I had an idea. Why not see if my library had an audiobook? And I did that, and I sat down with that book one night. I remember the night well, and I put my headphones in, and I opened to page 1, and I started listening to Will Patton narrate It. The revelation is beyond anything I can explain, and if you've never done this before, I highly encourage you, get a book, get an audiobook, pair them together. It nails the words to the page, and it streamlines the words going into your ears like nothing else. And I'll tell you the truth, I actually speed things up to about 2 speed. That's a comfortable speed for me. And I can read quickly, just like all my other friends. I can get through books, and my retention oftentimes is better than the retention of my friends who don't struggle with dyslexia. It opened the world to me to be able to listen to an audiobook while reading it with my hands. I cannot overstate this, the importance and the beauty of it. Even if you don't have dyslexia, I know a lot of people who like to do this, that I've shared this idea with. It changes the experience. It makes it more enjoyable than television or film. Your brain becomes the projector and you see the story in your head in this unique and amazing way. So why isn't everyone doing this? Probably because it's expensive. Even if you go to your library and you're able to check out formats of the book, oftentimes you have to buy one format. Many times you have to use an Audible credit to get that audiobook because libraries don't have exclusive or expansive catalogs. There are just so many limiting factors. As an author, somebody who writes mysteries and loves mysteries, I don't ever want you to be limited to experience my books. And that's why I decided that I want to offer you my books along with free audiobooks. Go ahead and click the link here and shop now. You'll get the first 3 books in my Luke and Time mysteries, and you'll be able to get the audiobooks for free when you do that. So just pay the price of the ebooks and you'll get the audiobooks for free. Or there's a separate offer. You can get the paperbacks and get the audiobooks for free. Either way you do it, you get the audiobooks for free. I want to do that for you because I know the magic that it can bring into your life, even if you're not dyslexic, but especially if you're dyslexic or struggle with ADHD.